every guitarist should have a capo handy, especially every beginner guitarist. And if you're a flamenco guitarist, you definitely should have one. Welcome to the channel, David Chiriboga here with your weekly Spanish guitar tip or tutorial of the week. As a beginner, I think having a capo is a great practice tool. Now, you definitely don't want to rely on it, but if you use it as a practice tool, it's definitely essential. A lot of beginners have trouble playing certain chords in the first position, which means on the first fret, or being able to stretch their fingers, since the frets are more spread apart in the first position. So I like to have a lot of beginners start off on the third position, and like I said, not rely on it, but just as a tool, just so that you can more easily play chords and have your fingers stretch a little bit easier. And as you gradually work your way up, you move the capo down, force yourself to stretch a little bit more, and then keep going. So as your fingers get stronger and they're able to stretch a little bit more, you could bring down that capo to the second fret, then to the first fret, and then eventually you'll be able to play chords easily on the first fret, and you'll be able to stretch a lot more easier on the first fret. Now, some teachers might not agree with this. They might think that you have to start off on that first fret and force your fingers to stretch, but I'm under the philosophy that let's make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more easy, so that you don't get discouraged. Now, for flamenco, we use the capo for maintaining certain chord positions and phrase fingerings while raising the pitch or lowering the pitch. Now, traditionally, that's the way they would always do it for singers because they wanted to maintain that aesthetic sound and those same type of fingerings and positions. Nowadays, a lot of flamenco guitarists don't always use the capo, they just play in more open positions. But that said, a lot of singers still like to hear the sound that you get from just raising the pitch with the capo and maintaining the traditional positions. So even if you're not playing with a singer, but if you're learning flamenco guitar pieces from certain artists, you definitely want to have one, because if you're learning a piece, for example, by Paco de Lucia, then maybe the piece that he played on the recording has it capoed on the second fret, and if you want to learn with the fingerings in the exact way that he plays it, or with his tablature or guitar score, then that's the way you'll have to learn it. If you play flamenco, you might have seen these nice handcrafted capos that are for sale. Now, while they're beautiful and it's nice to own something that's handcrafted and it's also just all made out of wood and another guitar string, they also can be a little bit of a pain. As you can see when you're putting it on, if you're performing in the moment and if you're not used to them, they could be a little bit of a drag. You have to wind it around, and if you let go, they just slip out automatically. But once you get used to it, it's not that bad. Now, while I love how these look, and I love having something that's handcrafted directly from a luthier, made with love, made with some art, these just happen to be a little bit more practical and reliable as a performer. The Shubb stainless steel capo for nylon string guitars. Now, here's what I love about the Shubb capo. First of all, as you can see, it's pretty small and it won't get in your way. Now, second of all, the biggest problem that some capos have is intonation. Some of them apply too much pressure and they're easily going to throw you out of tune. Now, the higher that you get on the neck, it's inevitable that you're probably going to get a little bit out of tune and need to retune and tweak a little bit. Now, this capo does a great job with the pressure because it has a little knob on the back to allow you to either add or take away some pressure depending on which guitar you're playing. So you might need to add a little bit if you're playing with a thinner guitar neck, or depending on where you are on the neck. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.